Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And another day, another J.K. Rowling cancellation. I think she's giving Gina Carano a run for her money. She is trying to see who can get canceled the most by Twitter in the shortest amount of time.
Have you noticed that it has meant nothing to be canceled by Twitter? I'm just pointing that out there.
It makes headlines, but it really doesn't mean anything. So, J.K. Rowling is being canceled for writing a book. The hashtag RIPJKRowling was trending today because her latest book, which is a whodunit in this series of whodunits that she's done as a guy.
Yeah, under a male name.
That's
a whole other thing.
Under a male pen name, ironically.
That was always okay. That's not the problem here.
The problem is that the killer in the book is a cisgender male who dresses like a woman to get close to women to kill them. And Twitter is having a complete meltdown because they said that is portraying trans people in a negative light, but I don't think she said the character was actually trans.
Right, because don't you know that according to Twitter, the only thing that makes you trans is that you dress in the opposite gender's clothes. I'm like, I could be mistaken, but I think there's a lot more to it than that. Like, a lot more to it than that.
It's a little more complicated.
They're boiling it down to the fact that this killer wears women's clothes. He's a cross-dresser, and because he's cross-dressing, that automatically means that they're trans. I'm like, which is more insulting? Which is more stereotyped when you look at the grand scheme of things? I mean, if Kneon would wear my clothes, that doesn't mean that he's trans. If I would wear his clothes, that doesn't mean that I'm trans. I guess everybody at Halloween should be canceled. Because how dare they? Because I'm like, I just can't get past Twitter. I'm like, you literally were just offensive. You're defending trans people, but you're being offensive while you do it. I can't even with you people.
Yeah, we're gonna read this, but before that, this is the top story on the New York Post.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Anyway, you can read that headline. I don't want to do that because we had a video demonetized because we talked about Chris Evans and his pictures.
Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna say the word again.
We're not gonna say the word. So anyway, this is coming from the New York Post. Is J.K. Rowling dead? No. Here's why R.I.P. J.K. Rowling is trending on Twitter. J.K. Rowling fans are out for blood. Again, they should put an again there. The author, 55, has penned a book called Troubled Blood, slated for release on Tuesday, about a male serial killer who dresses as a woman while going on violent killing sprees.
Again, doesn't mean they're trans.
It does mean he's potentially a lumberjack. A day before the book's release, fans and foes lambasted Rowling, who has previously made a slew of controversial comments about the trans community, and declared her dead by sending RIP J.K. Rowling to the top of the Twitter trending charts.
Now, I have to ask, here's what I'm wondering. If we had a hashtag of like RIP Biden or RIP AOC or RIP any of the people that are like the far left worship for whatever reason, I don't think the hashtag would last more than like a little bit before they pull it down, because they'd be like, that's fake news, that's misleading. But Twitter has left this up like all day.
Well, they had to disclaim that no, she's not dead.
Yeah, I saw that earlier today. I was like, what? And I didn't know what it was about, and I thought it was about the comments she made before, which, some of the comments she's made, even her oopsie doopsie where she copied and pasted, it was like, not okay. But she's allowed to have her opinions. Everybody's allowed to have their opinions. But, sometimes she says things and does things that I'm just like, stop tweeting.
Yeah, a couple of months ago, she copied and pasted. She said she was doing research on she copied and pasted some like anti-trans something and pasted it into a tweet to a child about an art contest, and it had the F-bomb in it and everything else. It was like,
not okay.
Keep this woman off Twitter.
It was not okay. However, I love how the same people who are mad at her now were completely fine with it when she retconned characters and to make them, LGBTQ after the fact to, which I think is kind of insulting there, because none of them were actually planned that way as it seemed. Yeah. And because she retconned them after the fact, but that was to be worshipped and honored and elevated to the highest of high on Twitter.
But that was 2010. That was ages ago.
I know. I mean, I just think it's funny because these people on Twitter, first of all, cancellation on Twitter means jack shit in the real world. Twitter is a tiny, tiny, tiny tiny part of the real world. And the people on Twitter that are out to cancel everybody all the time are an even tinier percentage of Twitter. It's like, a mite on a flea. It's like that's what's cancellation mobs, and they think that people care and it matters. At the end of the day, she don't care. She got a shit ton of money, and whatever, you can yell and scream all you want. She's not going to give two poops about what you have to say.
Yeah, but this guy is. This guy might give you 3 or 4 poops. He gives 3 or 4 poops.
But did he wear a mask when he did it? That's the question.
Which end?
Have you seen those little doggy poop bags that you stick on the dog and you put on their tail and it holds the bag under their butt so they poop into the bag so you don't have to scoop things up? Sorry, you said mask and which end. Okay, that's completely unrelated. Back to the
anyway,
story.
I think they're salty that she didn't cancel herself, because the correct thing to do, and we've seen authors do this.
We would never do it.
Yeah, fuck you. We're not canceling ourselves. What they do is, when they make a faux pas that Twitter doesn't like, they're supposed to cancel themselves. They're supposed to beg for forgiveness and immediately cancel their own book, even though millions of dollars of the publisher's money could be burned.
It could hurt a lot of other people too.
Right. You're supposed to, and the book's coming out Tuesday. It's already done. It's not like it's like 6 months.
That's tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, it's tomorrow.
And overseas, it's already today. So, but here's the thing, if you do something shitty, you should apologize. 100% agree with that. However, you shouldn't have to cancel yourself. You don't have to keep apologizing forever. You can never appease these people. So say, you know what? I shouldn't have said that. You're right. I'm sorry. And move on. And if they cancel you, who the hell cares? Because basically they just sit on their computer all day whining anyway. Who cares?
Tempest in a teapot.
Exactly.
In memory,
a very small teapot.
A very small pot. So these are some of the tweets. In memory of J.K. Rowling, she ain't dead, but she killed her own career by proudly hating trans people. No one would really miss her that much anyway.
One, if it's about this book, it's not a trans character. And 2, she killed her career. I doubt it. I really doubt it.
She's got ridiculous money, guys. She's got ridiculous money. She's one of the wealthiest women in the world. She could never write again.
But you know what? If you look at the amount of people in the world, hardly anybody's on Twitter.
Oh, yeah,
they're not even going to know about your pissing match on Twitter. They're not even going to know or care. You are a little drop in the bucket of the world. So she probably, she might know about it, but people buying the books, a lot of them probably know nothing about any of this, because they don't read like the Mary Sue, and they don't read the pop culture blogs, and they don't read Twitter. Of course, Mary Sue's mad. They're mad about everything.
Yeah, they are.
Ends in Y.
So here's another one. Hashtag RIPJKRowling. She ain't dead, but her career is.
Doubt it entirely.
Imagine getting canceled so hard we have to pretend that you died, and they are.
Wait. Imagine thinking you're so important that your cancellation matters.
Yeah, right. But they are. They're pretending somebody else, and they're mad about Harry Potter.
Stupidest thing I've ever seen.
They're pretending.
Is like what a 3-year-old does.
They're pretending other people wrote Harry Potter now.
I can't even.
So I thought shipping was bad, but now, like you said, it's like fantasy football, but with authors.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I hate J.K. Rowling, but I love Harry Potter, so I'm just gonna pretend that Lady Gaga wrote Harry Potter.
Well, what makes me mad is when these people are like, well, how dare she, make changes to things or say things that, about, ruin Harry Potter. It's like, but it's her thing. She can do whatever the hell she wants with it, because at the end of the day, it's her thing. Sorry, but it is.
Yeah. So Troubled Blood, that's the name of the book, Troubled Blood. She writes it under, a male pen name.
Yeah,
Robert
right?
Galbraith.
I know, right? How dare she?
Troubled Blood follows a private detective, Cormoran Strike, which
I can't get past that name.
Sounds like a Street Fighter finishing move. Cormoran Strike.
It does sound like a finishing move.
KO! As he investigates a cisgender male serial killer who dons women's clothing to kill female victims. At least he's not keeping them in a well. Making them put lotion on their skin and gonna wear them like a suit.
Yeah, because that's better than this. Because clearly a cisgendered man who dresses in women's clothing obviously makes him trans. God, I can't even. How insulting to trans people can you get? Anyway,
the second book, Rowling portrayed trans characters as being unstable. A trans character.
Trans character. One.
A trans character as being unstable and aggressive because trans people aren't people and they can't make the same mistakes that everybody else does.
Because when you're trans, you automatically are perfect in every way and you could never be unstable and aggressive. Since trans and cross-dressing are the same thing according to Twitter, whenever I wear jeans and pants because, they were traditionally men's clothing, or I wear one of Kneon's hoodies or something like that, some guys' clothes, I immediately become aggressive and angry. But if I wear a dress, I am completely fine.
Yeah, well, when she gets angry and aggressive wearing my clothes, I just have to rip my clothes off of her, and that calms her right down. It calms her right down.
No, but I'm saying this is dumb. Like, so people aren't allowed to be real people. Like, first of all, they're insulting trans people by basically saying a guy in a dress is a trans person, which is not the case at all. And then to top it off, they're basically like, because one character in a book was trans and they were aggressive, that means that they hate trans people. It's like, well, I'm sorry. As we can see by Twitter, that people can be LGBTQ and be aggressive. And,
You don't say. You don't say. Wait, what's this? Stan Robotnik, gender non-conforming icon and big trans ally? What? Come on.
Now they're just going to make shit up because it's Twitter and that's what they do every day. I just can't even.
Anyway.
But yeah, you said Silence of the Lambs is still apparently okay.
Yeah.
A guy kidnaps chubby women to starve them to lose weight so that he can, cut their skin off and make a woman's suit and wear it around.
That's totally fine. Remember when Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, Rupert Grint wrote the Harry Potter book series at 11 years old?
Remember when a bunch of babies on Twitter didn't like someone's opinions, so they pretended they didn't exist and gave credit to somebody else because they covered their eyes and said, "You can't see me," like a 5-year-old.
Oh, she passed away. Oh well, it's a good thing Hermione wrote the books. And oh my god,
this is really sad. I mean, it's just their behavior. They're acting literally like babies. They're literally acting like children having a tantrum. It's hilarious. That's how they're behaving.
Wow. Yeah. So
at the end of the day, she still has money, doesn't give a shit.
That's it. She's got a pile of what you would call fuck you money, and she's going to tell Twitter to go fuck itself with a pile of money. And then she's going to go laugh maniacally, and she's going to take a bath in it.
I doubt that.
She would. She just like
I wouldn't recommend it right now.
In money. Well, not change.
I wouldn't recommend it.
You can't get change.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it any day because that's dirty and you can get infections that way. I'm guessing. I don't know from experience, but at the end of the day, boils down to okay. Now she said some stuff she shouldn't have said. I'm not gonna say she didn't because she did, but at the end of the day, this boils down to they're mad because she wrote a book. And they're not mad that she wrote a book on pretending to be a dude. They're mad because she wrote a book about a man who's cisgendered, who's not trans, wearing women's clothes to commit murders. Which, if you didn't want to be caught, wouldn't it make sense to dress as the opposite gender so the police are confused and witnesses are confused? I mean, that makes sense. And don't you know, according to Twitter, by wearing women's clothing, even though you're not trans and you're just wearing them as a disguise, that means that you are a trans person, which is not what that means. And then they're mad because in one book, a character was aggressive because they were trans. And don't you know, every trans person ever is always sugar and spice and sweetness and fantastic, happy, upbeat constantly, because if you're trans, that you lose all your aggressiveness. That just goes away.
That sounds exhausting to me.
I decided to be a man. Oh my god, I feel so happy now. I am not aggressive at all.
You got bigger balls than me. What are you talking about?
I know, I'm just like, this is stupid. And it's insulting. And it's putting unrealistic expectations on trans people.
So basically, so what you're telling me is that Twitter is being hypocritical and Twitter fundamentally misunderstands whatever it is it's trying to fight about that.
Twitter's stereotyping as they're yelling about stereotyping.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. So anyway, buy the book or don't. It's coming out.
Who cares? If you don't want to buy it, don't buy it.
Don't buy it. She still has lots of money. She's still going to make lots of money.
I'm not going to tell you it's for the children. Twitter is, though.
Oh, God, I would never let my kids on. Oh, what am I saying? What am I saying?
Their kids are on Twitter.
The kids are on Twitter. I wish they weren't.
Yeah, but they don't put up with people's shit on Twitter either.
No, they don't. They don't. They've been raised well. They're aggressive. Be aggressive.
Just like tired of people's crap, and they're young and they're already tired of people's crap. So
yeah, so we're gonna see you out with
that's a happy dance.
some dancing Mario characters. Speaking of which, real quick, since we're talking about Harry Potter.
What's Harry Potter? Oh, because Harry Potter Land. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
I'm trying to follow your train of thought.
Since we're talking about Harry Potter, and since Harry Potter is a big draw at Universal, and we're talking about Mario, just got to show you a couple seconds of this beautiful site. This is the Universal Mario Land, and look, everything moves.
It's pretty cool. If you go out to piratesandprincesses.net, I linked to their YouTube, and you can see it. They have a big video about the Japan park that's going to be opening. They don't have it over here yet. I think Hollywood, they're working on it. Yeah. Orlando's kind of held up right now. I'm hoping to God they don't cancel it. There's talk they might.
No.
So, well, they might not get it done in time for the contract. So I don't know. We don't know yet, but hopefully we'll get it because, I mean, it's amazing.
God,
so,
this is just the exterior of the buildings, guys. Like, everything moves. So, yeah, Harry Potter's still going to make money in the theme parks. Doesn't matter.
But make sure you check out their video. You can find it if you go to piratesandprincesses.net.
All right, so we're going to wrap this one up?
Yep.
Okay. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.